A state senator is asking for an audit of Colorado's COVID testing program. This is amid questions about an $89 million contract with a startup company called Curative. The company, founded by a 25-year-old entrepreneur, makes tests only approved for use for people with symptoms. But as CBS 4's Sean Boyd reports, that's not how the state used them.
The state health department used the tests on asymptomatic people in hundreds of nursing homes for 2 months. The former head of testing says it was the only option, but the medical director for the largest chain of nursing homes says it was a costly mistake. Last fall, as COVID cases climbed, the state health department approached nursing homes with an offer they couldn't refuse: free testing with a company called Curative. While its tests were FDA approved for people with symptoms only, the health department told nursing homes to use them off-label in people without symptoms, too. Dr. Gregory Gaum, medical director at Vivage Senior Living, which has 30 nursing homes in Colorado, says it didn't make sense.
We knew there were better labs out there doing better testing.
Sarah Thunberg, then head of COVID testing for the state, disputes that.
There weren't really any options around asymptomatic testing.
And she says there were no labs offering what Curative did.
They would drop ship test kits to locations. They would be used in that location. Then you'd print out a label and send them back to Curative overnight.
But Dr. Gaum says what the company didn't deliver was reliable results. Suspecting false positives, he and his colleagues compared Curative's results to other labs.
Every single time it was Curative was positive, and the one that was sent to one of the other labs, negative.
He says they repeatedly warned state health officials.
Every week, I would bring an update. There's 10 more this week. There's 12 more this week. We found cases where Curative tests were done at 2 different places on the same day and had different results.
I heard him, and we went back and we looked at the data and did not see anything out of the ordinary.
Thunberg says several states were using Curative's tests off-label as well, and while the FDA didn't authorize it, she says the head of the agency told her to do so.
When the head of the FDA tells you that they are working as fast as they can to approve asymptomatic use, but in the meantime don't wait, you don't wait.
She says she chose Curative based on references from other states and data from the company. But Senator Rob Woodward suspects Curative got the contract based on connections, not competence. He points to emails showing the governor's top advisor for COVID response was introduced to Curative after a weekend get-together with an investor in the company, who is also a big donor of the governor's.
We've got to be very careful that those inside deals don't happen.
While Thunberg is copied in the email, she insists they didn't play into her decision. But Woodward wants the state auditor to investigate.
Let's take the time to look back and see what we did wrong. How can we do things better in the future the next time something comes around?
In January, the state cut ties with Curative after the FDA issued a warning saying using its tests off-label risks false negatives. The same FDA that Thunberg says told her to use the tests off-label in the first place. Dr. Gaum says in the end, the free tests proved costly. False results, he says, not only likely contributed to the spread of COVID, but caused nursing homes to come under heightened scrutiny. And many, he says, were hit with excessive fines.
It was a huge financial hit.
If they were unhappy, they should have gone to another vendor. We did everything we could to save as many lives as we could.
A spokesperson for the governor says neither he nor his office was involved in the Curative contract. There are also questions about a contract with the company that replaced Curative. It's in litigation. Senator Woodward, a Republican, will ask the audit committee to approve his request tomorrow. He'll need a Democrat to vote with the Republicans. Sean Boyd, covering Colorado First.
City of Denver